Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to our tier list and stuff. That's the name of the playlist, totally. So last time for you guys, we did a bunch of food and stuff. We also did the YouTubers one. That was the last episode you guys would have seen. But now we figured we'd move on to Minecraft because we haven't done one yet. So this is the Minecraft Mobs 1.19 tier list. So we have all the mobs up to the current version of the game because 1.20 isn't out yet, so we're doing 1.19. So starting off with a cow. Pretty decent mob, you know, has a really good food source, main source of leather, of course, which is used for a variety of different things. I'll put you solidly in B for right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to add a tier, actually, because I have an idea that I'm gonna, add row below. Yeah, well, the background be green, because no one likes green. And then, oh, D is green. Oh, okay, hang on. This I want green. This can be... Oh, why did you do that? This can be... I like purple. I don't know if I like it. I probably shouldn't put it that far. That color. Sure. Okay, and this can be...
Cool.
Alright, where are...
Okay.
Alright, there it is.
There we go.
Okay,
All right.
now all is right in the world. All right, moving on. Sheep. Honestly, my favorite mob to breed because you can dye them all the different colors and you can shear them to get the colored wool that they were on. So it's actually a very good source of wool, and it's the main source. Obviously, if you have a sheep farm, then it's really good. So I think you're actually even better than the cow. Your food source is all right. It's not as good as the cows, but you have better use than the cow because leather is used for certain things, but I use wool way more often, especially if you're making like a city or something where wool is very present. Pretty good mob there. So
Yeah.
let's see, we got foxes. I don't interact with these guys too much because I don't know, I just don't usually. They're pretty interesting, so I'll put them in B, not above a cow though. They breed with berries, so it gives the berries a use besides eating them, although eating them is not the best choice. So you know, they're pretty good, I guess, but I wouldn't put them above a cow. Bats are literally useless. What's the point of these? They literally don't. They are purely ambience. They have no sort of like thing they do. They don't drop anything.
They're just like a slight.
Literally don't.
annoyance.
They literally don't. Yeah, and they can also like if you're in the deep dark, by the way, they can trigger the skulk sensors. So it's like they can get you in trouble as well.
Oh, that's
So yeah, they're not this tier, but they're not much
Yeah.
better. So.
chickens.
Chickens. I think one of the best food sources, so I'm gonna put it above a sheep. Chicken is very breedable, like very breedable. Like seeds you can get anywhere, literally anywhere. They're also the remnants of a wheat farm, so you can use that. Also, you can hatch the eggs to get bonus chickens, so they're literally the most breedable thing in the game. And also, their food source is pretty good. Obviously, not the best food source. And you know what, we might do a Minecraft food thing next because I'm talking about food sources, but that's kind of what the chicken's known for. Also, they have feathers, which is used for arrows, so if you're a heavy arrow person or a crossbow person, they are super useful for you. So definitely A tier for that.
100%.
This is a cod. I think if we have a first C tier, pretty meh food source. I wouldn't really go out of my way to get them. They just drop their food and stuff. They do look pretty good in aquariums if you were to build an aquarium, but other than that, they don't really have much use. But at least they have a use. So, there you go. Ocelots are not really in the game too much anymore. They still are, but they're not like cats kind of replaced them in terms of like, you know, breedable and stuff. I'm gonna say I don't want to put them in B tier, so I'll put them in C tier. I'll put it above a cod though. So the ocelots you can only find in jungles now, and they can't be tamed. You can breed them, but they can't be tamed, which is interesting. So yeah, they're not, and they're kind of act like cats in a way where they run away from you, but they're not super useful. So I'll put them in C tier. Pig. Another solid food source. I'd say I would probably eat pork chop before I eat steak. So I would say I put pigs there. I don't want to put them in here just because they just drop pork chops. They don't have like these two both drop other things besides their meat source. So I would say you're pretty heavily in B tier, but pretty good food source, and they're cute. They're pigs. So snow golem. Again, another mob I don't interact with frequently. Usually I just build normal golems. But they are pretty cool. And if you remove the pumpkin, you get a cute little face.
Exactly.
Which they don't show in this image, but it's pretty cool. Which is a secret that not many new players know. So you do have you actually can defend against mobs. So I'm gonna put you above here. I don't want to put you in A tier. Yeah, I don't want to put you in A tier, so I'm not gonna do that. But definitely, I'd even put you because it can defend mobs. So I'm gonna put it here. Rabbits. Also a food source. They're also the main source of rabbit hide, obviously. And rabbit's foots for potions. So you really need to kill these guys to get potions of leaping. Or I mean, I think there's other ways too, but that's the main way. Food source is kind of garbage. I'm gonna put you. Yeah, I'll put you in B tier. B tier is gonna be full probably because of all this stuff. Another same thing about the cod. Again, I wouldn't really go after them too much. But they're the most common fish in rivers and stuff, so I guess that's cool.
Yeah, salmon's fine.
Mushroom, definitely S tier right now because you can get. I think it's with this one or the brown mushroom, which I don't know if it's here because it's just technically a variant. Essentially, if you have a mushroom or a brown mushroom and you get a bowl, literally infinite soup. So basically, it's the first infinite food source ever. I mean, you can, like, these are infinite if you have farms, but if you run out of a farm, obviously they're not infinite anymore. Mushroom, you don't even have to kill it, you don't even have to touch it, you don't have to do nothing with it. You just go up to it with a bowl and milk it like you would a cow, and you get mushroom soup out of it, which is nuts.
It's great.
And if you do it with a brown mushroom, you can get suspicious stew, which can give you fire resistance, jump boost. It has some bad side effects like nausea and stuff, but other than that, it's pretty good too. So it's like an infinite source of mushroom stew and suspicious stew, which is pretty cool. And he looks hilarious, so of course you're gonna go there. And they're found in the mushroom biome, which is the only biome in the game besides the deep dark that cannot have natural spawning mobs in it, which is crazy. So there you go. No, because the bats don't even drop anything. You at least drop ink sacs, which ink sacs is used mainly for black dye. So I guess I'll put you here. I actually do go after you more than I go after these guys, so you'll go here. I don't really go after these guys too much. The only time I get these guys is when I'm fishing for like stuff. I don't go after these guys at all. So actually, I'll put you here. But at least you have, at least you have like black ink, and you're not like hard to get. Really, you're pretty much everywhere. So there you go. Striders. These guys I should interact with more because they're pretty cute and cool looking.
Yeah, they're pretty useful as well.
I'll put you in B tier purely because you can walk on lava. I think that's hilarious. And also, it's very useful if you have like a lava moat that maybe only you can access. And it gives the fungus, it gives the warp fungus on a stick a use. So otherwise it wouldn't have a use. So it's pretty cool. Although I do think that these two are better. So it's just be back here. I think this is for all the different tropical fish. For building an aquarium, it's cool. But other than that, they don't really serve much of a purpose. So I'll put you here. Because if I'm building an aquarium, that's cool. But, I mean, technically speaking, actually, you know what? I'll put you here just for this fact. There's over 2,000 variants of tropical fish. Oh yes, what you're seeing on screen is the most common of the amount. And that's the only models you'll see. However, it's randomly generated based on the color scheme they have. And that unlocks the whole 2,000 variant kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, so they're pretty cool. I was going to put you in C, but I forgot that fact, so you're going to go there. Still not completely useful, because they only drop clownfish, which is one of the worst food sources in the game. So, you know, I'll just leave it there. Turtles. I think Scoot is very useful in the game. I would actually even put you above here. Because they are difficult to breed because you have to get them in a part, like they are so slow. They're like so slow. I think you can lead them, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But either way, they give you Scoot when you breed them, which is useful, which is the only way to make a turtle helmet, which allows you to swim faster in water and stuff, so it's pretty useful, I would say. Villager, definitely S tier, because they are obviously the things that get you trading. They have all different kinds of trades. I literally have on my hardcore world that I do privately, I have like literally a hotel full of villagers because they all offer different things, especially a mending book, which is literally the most important thing in the game. And they can offer you potions. If they're a librarian, they can offer you like enchanted books. They can offer you maps. If they're a cartographer, they can offer you all these different things, and you can offer them stuff for like basically infinite emeralds. So for on my hardcore survival world, I have a massive farm, like a massive wheat farm, and it's like, I'm not even kidding, it's the size of like a football field. And because I have like speed 3 on, or speed 2, whatever the highest one is, I basically mow through it in less than like a minute or so. And I go over to the farmer villager, and I get like, if I do it all and I get all the benefits out of it, I get like, I think it's 3 stacks of emeralds.
Oh my god.
And so it's basically infinite emeralds, and that's just one villager. So
What?
it's just one villager. So if you had multiple, which like I said, I do, then you know, they're basically infinite emeralds. Which emeralds obviously have their uses for other things. Wandering Trader. You know, I used to think you were useless until he has the mangrove propagules now, which are the hardest thing to get unless you have found a mangrove swamp, which in our co-op series we did. But in case you haven't, like in my hardcore survival world, I literally have not found one yet. So he's been my only source of that, so I can't put him in C tier. You're more useful than the fish, you're more useful than the foxes, I would say. But I don't know if you're useful more than these guys, based on your stuff, because usually you have garbage. And in fact, sometimes the most efficient thing to do is to kill them, because you get them you get the leads and the stuff, and you get the what's it called? You get the leather from the llamas. So it's almost better to kill him than what he actually offers. You're useful for brewing. That's really it, though. Because brewing gives you water breathing, which I guess is pretty useful. So I'd actually put you above the squid. If there we go. Really, the biggest source of water breathing potions is really useful if you're building like an underground base, or if you are going to an ocean monument, which are kind of useless in and of themselves. But you know, it's water breathing itself is pretty useful. So I put you here. No, I'll leave you guys there. That's the only one I'm not too sure about, because, like I said, I guess if there was a thing in between, but I'm not going to fuss with that. Axolotls. Purely for cuteness. There you go. But they also kill guardians, which is pretty useful because those guys are annoying to fight. So, and if you get a pack of them, they're like all guardians in the area are screwed. So, pretty nice. I appreciate them. Donkey. I don't think donkeys are actually that fast. So I'll put you here. And also, I don't think you drop leather. I think the regular horses do. So I don't know, but you might. Yeah. But either way, they're not. But either way, they're not like super useful, and they're not that fast. So sure. Horses. At the early game, one of the earliest forms of transportation, especially if you breed them to get like the super fastest horse. So I would say early game, I would put you here. In terms of late game, you're more down here because you become more relevant. After you get into Elytra, you don't use horses ever. But I'll put you there. That is a cat. Cats are adorable. So same thing about the axolotl. Cats are adorable, and they fend off creepers in case you needed to do that. Also, a little known fact that not many people know about the cat is if they're open, like they're not locked in a house or anything, and they're just out in the open. During the nighttime, if you don't sleep, they can get you phantom membranes, which like they're not that hard to get, but they're kind of annoying to get because you have to not sleep for 3 nights, and then you have to actually attack them, and they obviously stay in the air most of the time. Somehow, I don't know how they're doing it, but they will bring you phantom membranes. I think they can also bring you something else. I think it's gunpowder. I'm not too sure. But they bring you these things. They only bring like a couple things, but they go out hunting, as that's what they do. So you won't see them for a little bit during the night, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to get you phantom membranes and gunpowder, I think, because it's creeper. So gunpowder, I think. So I would say you're even more useful than the actual lava, just a little bit. Parrots. Another mon that's kind of useless. Their only real use is to is to make noise when there's an enemy nearby, but I mean, you can kind of see them. And or hear them if your volume's up. So I'm not totally sure. I think you're kind of on par with the ocelots in terms of use. You have one use, and that's really not that, and your use is not really that impressive. They are cute, and apparently they used to be bred through cocoa powder, but real life parrots, that's cocoa powder is poisonous to them, so they had to remove that feature, obviously. And that's well, I say they removed the feature, but if you give them cocoa powder, if you give a parrot a cocoa powder, it will die immediately, in the game. So,
Wow.
yeah. That's a mule. A mule, again, same thing with the donkey. Not too great. I think you're a little bit faster than a donkey, but not by much. Unless... I'm gonna put the other one over here. No, I think that... No, this is a horse. That's a mule, because they're smaller. Put you up here. Okay. Skeleton horse. One of the coolest looking things in the game, and one of the most hardest to obtain.
Yeah, they're like kind of rare, right?
They are super rare, and you have to do a battle to the death with like enchanted skeletons that are riding said horses just to get one. And you have to kill the skeleton without killing the horse. If you use a sword, you're gonna kill both. If you use an axe, you're gonna kill both. You have to use a bow to get them, unless you're higher than them, in which case I guess you could. But you have to use a bow to get them, otherwise you're gonna kill both of them, which you don't want. In terms of actual use, they are a bit slower than the horses. They cannot be tamed. Well, they can be tamed, sorry, but they can't be, like, bred in any way. But you do look a bit cooler than the horse. So, and saying you have one is really cool because, like I said, the you have to battle 4 skeleton horsemen, and they have enchanted bows, enchanted iron helmets. So, you know, they can be pretty tough, especially early game. If you have full netherite, then it's probably not a problem. But if you just have like regular iron armor, you might get murdered. The Allay, one of the newest mobs in the game.
I honestly have no idea what that is.
You don't know what this is?
I barely remember.
How absolutely dare you?
I
Um,
apologize.
So the Allay, if you give it an item, it will go around the surrounding area and give you more of that item. So let's say you have a, I don't know, you have a netherwort form, by the way, because like netherwort, if you have soul speed on your boots, you can like breeze through the soul sand. So you can actually like, you might be losing netherwort that you're not seeing because it's going behind it, or it's like it's behind you or whatever. If you have an Allay next to you and you give it a piece of the netherwort, it won't eat it or anything. It's just you just give it to it. It will go around the surrounding area, and it will pick it up for you, and it'll come back to you and give it all it found to you. Which is sort of useful. I don't use them too often, and they're the only mob in the game that is you don't need another one to breed. So they are breedable. The only way to breed them is you only need one to breed. So you get one of them, and you put them in a room with a jukebox, and you play a music disc on it. It has to be a good one. It can't be 13 or 11 or whatever. You play an actual music disc, and it will start to dance. Once it starts to dance, you just give it an amethyst crystal or amethyst shard, and it will actually just like split into 2. So it's the only mob in the game where you only need one of its variants to breed, whereas everything else you need 2.
Okay, so those kind of things that produce on their own. I forgot their name.
Just stop talking. Let's see. I think I'll put you here. I don't know. I think these 2 are a bit more useful. Actually, no, because I put the cat there, and this one actually gets more stuff, and it can get anything depending on what you give it. And if you give it something that, like, let's say it can't get, so if you give it like a sword, it's obviously not going to find swords just lying around. So if you do that, it will just follow you forever. They don't attack or anything, and Vexes. If there's Vexes in the area, they will demolish these guys. So don't be in a woodland mansion with these guys unless you're freeing them. But yeah, dolphins literally is super useful, especially if you have a farm of them, because they give you Dolphin's Grace, which like essentially makes you Superman underwater. So I'd say you also get an S tier just for that. And of course, obviously they show you towards buried treasure and shipwrecks. So there's that as well.
Yeah. Polar bear.
Polar bear is another mob I don't interact with often. As far as I'm aware, you don't have a use either, actually. So maybe you do be in here.
No.
I think you're better than the bat, because you look cooler and you're interesting. But yeah, I don't think you drop anything if you kill it. I don't think they're breedable, as far as I'm aware. They're definitely not pets or anything. You can't ride them.
Yeah, they're actually hostile, so...
Well, they're only hostile if you're near its baby. If you just find one by itself, you're fine. Llamas, very cool, and I'll tell you why. So llamas are very cool because if you put, so you know how like horses have horse armor. Essentially, llamas have their own type of armor as well. So if you put a carpet on their backs or whatever, they will have the colored carpet. So if you put a red carpet, it'll be like a red like kind of sash. It's kind of I don't think it's here. I was gonna say he carries llamas, but I don't think they're classified as a different mob. But essentially they have like this cool thing on, right? But in certain cases, so let's say you put it on a green one, like you put a green carpet on, it will have a creeper face on the back of it. So it has a little design on it. Some of the carpets don't do that. If you give it a black one, it'll have an Enderman face on it. So they're very, very cool, and that opens it up to how many wool colors are there? A bajillion, really. But there's a lot. You can have a llama have a different aesthetic for every single carpet that's in the game. So definitely cool, and you're fun to ride, I guess. And you can have I think you can have treasure chests. They can essentially be storage as well. So I'm gonna put you here. I think llama's pretty cool. Pandas. You breed them in the bamboo, so they're not D tier. I would say probably somewhere in here, because again, another mob I don't interact with often, and they're cute, but I don't think they really have much of use. Dogs. I think they're gonna go right next to cats in terms of use. They will fight off mobs, and if you have a gang of them, they will fight off. They're basically immune because they're gonna fight off. There's so many of them that they're gonna be overwhelmed, or that the monster will be overwhelmed. They will actually, even though they're gonna die, they will also fight the wither if you have dogs nearby. So I would recommend sitting them down before you go attack the wither, because the wither will annihilate them. But that's how loyal they are. They will go and even attack the wither, who's like, good luck. But yeah, so they attack all types of mobs. Essentially anything you attack, it will attack. So it can be a sheep, it could be a llama, it could be even peaceful things like this dude. So they attack anything you attack, or if something attacks you, they attack it back. So a little bit more useful than a cat, but they are, I would say these guys I think are a bit more useful in terms of general use.
Not the bees.
Bees. I actually have a farm of bees in my, it's not my hardcore server, it's my other one. It's like I built a little glass dome for the bees, because they're the main source of honey and honeycomb, which are both very useful items, which obviously makes honey blocks. You can make candles, which is one of the coolest items in the entire game. So I'm going to put you right here. I think that's a good spot for you. Iron golems. S tier, definitely. Literally the iron giants of the Minecraft world. Obviously, I have essentially built a empire in my, not my hardcore one, but the other one, my just regular survival world. They are beasts. I have like 80 of them, and there's nothing that's getting in them. I essentially built an empire out of a village, and I put them in there, and there's nothing getting in. There's nothing getting in at all. And they're super strong and early game. Unfortunately, you gotta kill some because you can get essentially free iron out of it. Especially for speedrunners, they kill these guys a lot. So they're very, in terms of games, they're very useful. I think just slightly the villagers a little bit more useful. So, goats. Now I've been told if you kill them, they do drop the goat horn things. I've never seen that happen to me though, so I don't know if that's false. But I would say here, because you're cool looking, and you have a bit more use than these two guys. That is a normal spider, so we're into hostile mobs now. Normal spider.
Normal basic.
Let's
spider.
see. You're interesting because you're out during the day sometimes as well. I'll put you here because you're interesting, but you're kind of annoying. Cave spiders. Okay.
Get out of here.
Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. There we go. I just gotta change the color to a disgusting one. Cool. Hey, it actually matches. There you go. All right, moving on. Enderman, literally one of the coolest mobs in the game, I think.
It's not one of my favorite mobs.
I would say I would say here, because I think Endermen are super cool. They are neutral towards you, so unless you anger them, they're not going to be hostile. And they drop Ender Pearls, one of the most useful items in the game. And they are the most useful because they drop. If you combine it with Blaze Powder, they give you Eyes of Ender, which is the only way to get, not required, which is the only way to find out where the stronghold is. I mean, you can use Chunk Base, I guess, but that's kind of cheating. And I say it's not required because it's literally 1 in a trillion chance that you can get it full on.
To get a full complete
So technically speaking, we can't say it's required, but
well, good luck with that.
normally it's required. But also, it's also used to find the stronghold normally. So those are pretty useful as well. And then just regular Ender Pearls, like you can teleport around, like how cool is that? And they're also the main entity of the end cities, besides the shulkers, so they're pretty useful as well. And you can never get stuck in the end, because, or sorry, the end cities or whatever. I forgot what the actual place is called. But you can never like get stuck there unless you die, because again, infinite Ender Pearls. Especially if you have a looting sword, you get like 3 per Enderman you kill, so that's crazy. Normal zombie piglins. You're pretty cool. You wield a butter sword. I do miss the pigmans though. I kind of like them a bit more.
Yeah.
I'll put you here. You're all right. Piglins. Now I do like these guys. I know they're hostile, but I do like them. I appreciate them because I kind of like that they. Also, you know what? Actually, you are pretty useful actually because they will barter with you. I forgot. If you give them a gold bar, it has to be a gold bar. It can't be a gold nugget. If you give them a gold bar, they will essentially throw an item back at you. It has a random chance of being any sort of item. There's a list, but I don't know what the list is. All I know is they can drop Ender Pearls. They can drop like Soul Sand or the Soul Speed or whatever, which is the only way to get that, by the way. And so they drop all these cool things, and if you barter with them, and they're always friendly if you are wearing any piece of gold armor, whether it be gold helmet, gold boots, even a gold chestplate, doesn't matter. Any piece of gold armor, they will always be friendly with you unless you attack them. So they're kind of like the Enderman. If you attack them, they attack you. If you're not wearing gold, they will be hostile on sight, but they are pretty easy to kill. So I wouldn't worry too much about them. But they're pretty cool. That's an Evoker. Evokers are literally the only source of Totems of Undying, which is probably even more useful than the Villager, I would say, because Totems of Undying are literally what they sound like. They will prevent you from dying in a risky situation. So I definitely think you're pretty alright.
Vindicator.
You guys are the only guys that drop emeralds. Well, I guess you sort of do. But the crossbow dudes do not. The Vindicators. Or, Pillagers. The Vindicators are the dudes that drop emeralds if you kill them, which is pretty cool. I'll put you here. Because you can be annoying sometimes. You guys are purely just annoying. You don't even drop anything cool. You are the only dudes that can have a banner, though. Just to start a raid. If you're in a raid already, these guys can have a banner too. But if to start a raid, you need one of these guys to be wearing a thing. So I guess that's cool. But these guys at least drop emeralds. Ravagers. These things are actually more annoying than those two guys.
Yeah,
purely because they are super hard to kill. They drop saddles, which you can get saddles from a lot of different places. And the dudes can be riding them, which is a bit more annoying. And they deal a lot of damage. Even if you're wearing full netherite, they deal a lot of damage. So, not my favorite. And they can also destroy like leaves, snow, and like they can destroy certain like weak blocks. Which is kind of annoying as well. If you have like a nice little setup and they come and ruin it, so not a big fan of those guys.
I think those are like the little things that.
No, I'm fully aware of what they are.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Endermites. The only way to get to these guys is like if you throw an ender pearl and they randomly spawn. So I don't really interact with them at all, really.
I've like never.
And they don't drop anything, so. I didn't put you here. I hate you more, so I'm gonna put you there. Guardians. I think Guardians are pretty cool. They're the only hostile thing in the ocean so far. Well, that's drowned, but they can be in rivers too. Yeah, I think it's better than those guys. Outer Guardian. You're just annoying. You don't even drop anything, I'm pretty sure. I'll leave you there. Because you also give us mining fatigue, which is the most annoying thing on the planet. So, yeah, you can stay there. Shulkers, super cool because they make you levitate. They are hostile, obviously. I'm actually going to put you here because I think Shulkers are pretty interesting, and they are the... Actually, you know what? I'll put you next because they're the only way to get Shulker boxes, which is essentially an extra inventory space. Because if you have a Silk Touch pickaxe, you can carry it around with you and store all your different items. And if you have multiple things, you basically have like an unlimited inventory space, which is crazy. I would say you're a bit more useful than a dolphin, a bit more useful than the mushroom. I would say even with the iron golem. I don't think I can put you above these two though. So, but pretty cool all around.
Husk.
Husks are only in deserts. Not really that interesting. I'll leave you there. No, I'll keep the fish together. I'll put you here. Are you better than the goat? No, you're not better than the goat. Hang on. I gotta redo this. Go there, please. Thank you. These guys are interesting. They give you slowness, and they're only found in snow biomes. So you're definitely interesting. I'll put you there because you're at least interesting. Phantoms, the only source of phantom membranes. Phantom membranes are pretty useful all around because they give you potions of slow falling, which in terms of fighting the Ender Dragon is one of the best potions you could ever have. So I'll put you. You're a bit more useful than these guys. Blaze, the only source of blaze rods, which in turn is the only way to beat the game. So, just in terms of overall gameplay, I mean these two go hand in hand, right? So
Yeah.
I'll leave you there. Creepers, the face of the game. Never do that again.
Shut up.
The face of the game. I'm tempted to put you in C just because of how much pain and torment you've caused me over the years, but I'll leave you there. Guess. One of my favorite mobs in the game. Just like, yes, they're annoying, but also because they look and sound ridiculous, and also they shoot fire. So like, even the dragon doesn't shoot fire. So, just in terms of my tier list, I'm gonna put you there because I like you a lot, and you can catch it. Like if you have a fishing rod, you can catch a ghast.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. That's the thing that you can do.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Magma cubes, really annoying. You only drop magma cream, which is only used for potion brewing, and I guess if you wanted to build magma blocks, but you can find them everywhere. Bit more useful than you. I'll put you there. Silverfish, another useless mob. You don't drop anything. You're really just annoying. So going in with the annoying bunch that doesn't really do much. Skeletons, cool dudes. I like that you can turn them on each other. I think that's kind of hilarious. Also, I think having a intense skeleton battle is one of the scariest moments in the game, especially early on. If you're getting ganged up by like 5 skeletons at once, and you just have like a sword and a dream, then it can be one of the most intense things in the game, especially early on. So I'll put you there. I think you're pretty cool. Slimes. I would say you're the only source of slime balls, but that's not true because the Wandering Trader can have them. Yeah, I'll put you near him because it's not really that useful. Classic zombies. Main source of rotten flesh. Rotten flesh farms are pretty useful for traders. So I will put you up here somewhere. Zombie villager. Didn't realize that was a... I mean, I knew it was a thing, but like I didn't realize they were differentiating these two. They're like normal zombies, but if you save them, they can become a thing. So I'll actually put you up here somewhere, because if you save them, they will become a normal villager, and if they have a job, like they're a job villager, if you save them and turn them into a thing, not only do you get an advancement, but you also get their prices will forever be dropped, which is pretty interesting. Drowned, annoying, but you're only useful in terms of tridents, so I'll put you there, I guess. Wither skeletons. Again, another mob that I really like that people obviously find annoying. I'm gonna put you near the blaze actually because I think hunting for these guys is fun, and I like getting their heads obviously to build the wither. So, and they're the only source to build the wither. You can't get their heads anywhere else. So, the witch, another mob I don't interact with often. I do like kind of anytime I hear the little or whatever laugh they do, I kind of get excited because they can drop like potions. They can drop, the main thing that they drop is healing potions. I think they can also drop swiftness potions. So they can literally just drop potions, which I find very interesting. Which that's really your form of potions early on. Unless you're dealing with the... No, I don't think clerics can give you potions. So yeah, I think they're really the only source of potions early on. So I'll put you there. This is the Phantom. Hoglins. Hoglins are the only food source in the Nether. So automatically you get a... Oh, do I? Yeah, you know what, I do. But you're behind these guys though. So Hoglins get S because they're the only food source in the Nether, and they are not that hard, especially if you have Netherite already. If you have Netherite already, they are not a problem. And also, if you have a sword with fire aspect on it, you get cooked pork chops. So basically free food in the Nether, and they're in the Crimson Forest, which is my favorite biome in the Nether. So definitely giving them that. That's not a baby hoglin. That is just a pig. What are they called? They're not hoglins. Oh, zombified hoglin. That's what they're called. A bit less useful because I don't think you drop anything. Down here somewhere. And I'm putting it down here just in case you do drop pork chops, but I've never actually encountered one of these guys. So. Oh god, I hate you guys. Even with full netherite, these guys are a menace. I think it's 3 shots and you're dead. So almost as powerful as a warden, and there can be multiple at once. So that's fun. The way that I deal with these guys is you build up a couple blocks and hit them from there, because otherwise they can push you in lava or they can gang up on you and you're just toast over.
You're just screwed.
So I kind of don't like you. I mean, your design is cool, so I'll put you up here just for that. But babies. Let's see. I hate you. Yeah, there. The Wither. Wither is cool. It's the only source of the beacons, obviously, because they drop the Nether Star. Beacons, then in and of themselves, though, unless they get a buff, are not that useful. So you're above these guys, but I wouldn't put you above these guys, just because, first of all, you're really hard to beat, but also because beacons aren't that useful sometimes. The end of the, we're gonna say, it's the end of it. We're gonna say nothing less. So the Warden, literally the best mod they've ever added in the game. In terms of usefulness, I guess he has to be low, because at least these guys have a use. But the design of him and the whole mechanic of him is awesome. The fact that he, if you get detected 4 times by a shulk screecher, he emerges from the ground, and he has he will use the vibrations and sense you. He can also, if you're also close enough to him, he can sniff you out. And also he has 2 different attacks. So obviously he just has a melee attack, which, by the way, does 6.5 hearts on full netherite. You heard that right. The strongest armor in the game. 2 shots and you're dead.
2 shot dead.
But he also has a shriek attack, which if you so building up, people always oh well, you can just build up and kill him. No, he will sonic shriek your butt into the next dimension, because not only does it deal, I think, 5 hearts, but it also will knock you off any platform you have. So you're either dying by fall damage, especially depending on how high you are, or you're dying because he's waiting at the bottom for you. So very OP, very cool. He only drops a Skull Callus, so I guess technically he does drop something. But I would, there's gonna be more stuff with him later, I think, because there's a portal, clearly a portal in the ancient cities and stuff. So there's gonna be more about him, and he has a whole disc after him. The whole broken disc you can repair once you loot the ancient city. So like I said, one of the best mobs in the game. When I first found out about him, watching the Minecraft live thing, I literally was like, wow, that's the coolest thing ever. So he's going there. Frogs, and they took the image from the Minecraft live 2021, I think. 2022. They're cool because they give you tadpoles, which are the cutest mob in the game. And if you get a bucket of tadpoles, I might be able to find an image online, but it's literally the cutest thing ever, because it's the tadpole is adorable. So I like you more than these guys. I think you're just as cute as Linaxolotl, so I'll put you there. Tadpoles, yeah, I just talked about this. tadpoles. Look at these little guys, and they turn into frogs. So I think you're just based on Q Factor. You go up there.
Nice.
And then, of course, the Ender Dragon, right? The end of the game. I think you get S tier as well. I kind of like the Warden a little bit better, just because I think he's almost like a boss, because not only does he have all of, like, a crap ton of health, but also he has 2 attacks, kind of like he does. Because he has the main, like, he's going to run into attack, but he also has the Fire Breath attack. So they both kind of work in similar ways, except he has a way better mechanic of, like, he can sense you, he can't actually see, and he's terrifying, because it makes your screen dark. So he essentially turns it into a horror game. So I think you're a bit better. But the Ender Dragon is a cool fight, and you can battle him up to 20 times, because if you respawn him 20 times, if you try to respawn him the 21st time, it doesn't let you. So yeah, you essentially fight him 20 times, and he's pretty cool. And the first time you kill him, he drops like literally infinite XP, so if you have any tools that have mending on him, bring it to the fight, because he will repair them for you. But, with that being said, I think that is our tier list, so I think I like it. These guys, obviously, I think are self-explanatory. The Vex I didn't talk too much about, but these guys are literally the most annoying thing in the game. Besides, well, these two just shouldn't exist. This guy does exist, and I see why he exists, but also they're the most annoying thing in the game. You're very annoying, especially when you're on like, if you have armor and stuff. I don't see too often. You don't drop anything. You literally don't do anything. You don't do a whole lot. So that's why those guys are down there. And then, S tier is reserved for the mobs that are, like, definitely in the game, or that, like, they should add even more on, because I think, like I said, this guy could be added on more, like, maybe he'll drop, like, an item that you couldn't get elsewhere. Hoglin's the only food source in the Nether. Dolphins give you Dolphin's Grace, infinite food, infinite defense, really, shulker boxes, so you get the idea. But with that being said, that we're going to move on to, for us, we're going to move on to another tier list, but thank you guys so much for watching this episode. And we'll see you guys next time.